and welcome back to Inside the 20. Today we will be talking about the NFL trades and free agency part 2. If you did not see part 1, please go back and watch it, and make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and drop a follow. So we will start in the B- section and go down. And so to start, the Cincinnati Bengals signed running back Zack Moss from the Indianapolis Colts. This is a solid signing, especially after losing Joe Mixon to the Houston Texans, which I previously talked about in my last video. Also with Chase Brown over there, it's going to be a competition for the number 1 running back in Cincinnati next year. Next, we have Rams sign quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo from Raiders. The reason I put it in B- and not C or C+, was because of the fact that with all the injuries Matthew Stafford has gone through the past few years as a LA Ram, and also his time as a Detroit Lion, it was good for them to pick up the signing, and I think that the Rams will definitely like to have him, especially with, again, all the injuries that they have, especially at the quarterback position. And next, Browns signed running back Nyheim Hines. They have a bunch of quarterbacks, they have a bunch of wide receivers, and now the running backs are even more packed. They have a bunch of different guys who are very good, and this, again, just like last year, is going to be a dogfight for the number 1 spot as a running back. And then Titans signed cornerback L'Jarius Sneed from Chiefs. This was a big one to upgrade the Tennessee Titans, as the Chiefs hate to lose this guy who's been productive the past few years and has shown a lot of promise. I already know he will produce for the Tennessee Titans, and he could definitely improve the Titans to maybe even a wild card spot. I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans make a wild card spot because of their defense, and the offense still have a few tweaks to figure out, but this is definitely a positive signing for the Tennessee Titans going forward. And Lions sign cornerback Carlton Davis from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This definitely is a good signing, especially with the defense that the Lions already have. They have some great defensive linemen in Aiden Hutchinson, and also this is a huge signing to improve their secondary, which I think really helped them out, especially going forward into the 2024 season. Right, and coming off of that, the Chargers signed running back Gus Edwards from the Ravens. The Chargers, after losing Austin Eckler and a bunch of other guys to their offense, this is a huge signing. This definitely helps out their backfield going into 2024. And I think that the Chargers could definitely improve. I wouldn't say they improved from Austin Eckler, but they definitely helped clear a big hole that they had in their offense. And then Vikings signed cornerback Shaquille Griffin from the Carolina Panthers. Again, the Vikings are adding pieces to their defense, and it's definitely, I think it'll pay off. He has shown a lot of progress, being a Seahawk, a Jaguar, and a Panther. He's bounced around quite a few times, and I think he will do good on his new squad. I think he could definitely help out the defense a lot. And so moving on, the Jaguars signed wide receiver Gabe Davis from the Buffalo Bills. This is a huge signing for the Jaguars to improve their offensive game, for Trevor Lawrence, giving him a new weapon and making that depth chart of wide receivers even more full. I think it's clear Gabe Davis will be the number 1 wide receiver. I feel like that's a big self-esteem boost for him, being the number 2, backing up Stephon Diggs these past few years in Buffalo. And then we are on to the C+ section. So to start off, Colts signed quarterback Joe Flacco from Browns. Joe Flacco came out of nowhere last year. Came out from New York, I think he was in. and just absolutely tore it up and made the playoffs with the Browns. And I think that he could produce that as well for the Colts. And I think the AFC South is going to be a lot this year, especially with Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson being on the same team. An incredibly old guy with an incredibly young guy. And I think that it's going to be, again, another fight in the AFC for a starting position. Chiefs signed tight end Irv Smith from Bengals. Irv Smith did absolutely nothing for the Bengals last year, and obviously with Travis Kelce at that tight end position for the Chiefs, who does not have a history of injuries, Irv Smith should not get a lot of time as a Chief this year. But again, this is definitely a solid signing to improve that depth chart in that position. And then Vikings signed defensive tackle Jonah Williams from Rams. I had to do some research on this guy, Jonah Williams, defensive tackle from the Los Angeles Rams. He has some solid stats, and for the Vikings to improve their defense, especially after losing Kirk Cousins in the offense, I think that this will help out the defense. And then Panthers signed safety Nick Scott from the Cincinnati Bengals. Nick Scott did nothing for the Bengals last year, and now Von Bell is back in Cincinnati. Nick Scott was released and picked up by the Panthers just a few days ago. This is definitely, again, another solid signing for Panthers, considering that this team has nothing and they need everything they can get. So I think Nick Scott will be the starting safety next year for the Panthers. Moving on, Browns signed running back Deontay Foreman from Bears. That is a C+. The Browns, they add another running back. Why do the Browns have so many running backs? They don't need all these dudes. They don't need all these running backs. They have too many. The depth chart's too full. They can't even fit them all. They definitely have quite a few. But Deontay Foreman has also bounced around like Shaquille Griffin has. He was a Bear last, and I forget where, but he's bounced around quite a few times. Probably won't get much playing time, obviously, but with all the injuries that they had last year in the running back spot, you never know. Going on, Titans signed wide receiver Calvin Ridley. Tennessee is definitely going to improve on this. Calvin Ridley has been solid his past few years. He was a Jaguar, then a Falcon. He's been a lot of places, and I think he brings his talents to Tennessee, and he helps out Tennessee a lot. The Raiders signed Gardner Minshew from the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts like Gardner, especially after Anthony Richardson went down in Week 5 last year, and Gardner was able to help out the team and get some solid wins up on the board. And now that the Raiders have Gardner Minshew after losing Jimmy Garoppolo to the Los Angeles Rams, this will definitely help the quarterback position. But I do think that he will be the starter. Their backup QBs will definitely give him some competition to deal with. As we saw that last year, they performed quite well. Tennessee Titans signed quarterback Mason Rudolph from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mason Rudolph was solid last year for the Steelers, and Tennessee and Tannehill is definitely the starter in this situation, but I still think that Mason Rudolph can be there and be prepared and ready to perform whenever his name is called, just like he was in Pittsburgh. Tennessee is definitely helping out their offense a lot by adding all these offensive weapons and all this additions to the depth chart. Onto the C section now. And before we get to that, just want to quick shout out to Hard Count Athletics. I recently did a Jamar Chase camp with Hard Count Athletics on March 10th of this year. It was an incredible experience. Got to do the VIP, go talk with the player, get to ask questions, sit down in a room with him with about 80 other kids, You get to get stuff autographed, get to talk to him, to the player, whoever it is. It's awesome. They've done many previous camps with Austin Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Deebo Samuel, a bunch of other guys. And they also have a 3-hour camp with the player. The player is there, whoever it is. And it's basically football skills, football drills. There's a bunch of different coaches, all very experienced and know what they're doing. Just, again, go check out Hard Count. So, onto the C section. The Bills signed quarterback Mitchell Trubisky from the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was a decent signing, obviously. Steelers hate to lose this guy. He progressed so much in the final few weeks of the season and even became the starter in the wildcard game against the Buffalo Bills, where they lost. Obviously, he's not going to take Josh Allen's spot. But again, just like the Chiefs signing Irv Smith Jr., definitely going to be a great addition to the depth chart. And then that was actually the only one for C. So on the C- section now. Seahawks sign QB Sam Howell from the Commanders. Seahawks, obviously, again, not going to have Sam Howell as their starting quarterback, but he can definitely, I see this guy as someone who could progress, and if Geno Smith goes down, he will be ready. Obviously, again, he's not going to take Geno Smith's spot, but I think that he could still give him some competition. And then Jaguars signed quarterback Mac Jones from Patriots. He was a rookie of the year in 2021 and has degressed ever since. And for the Jaguars to sign him, again, another quarterback, he's not taking Trevor Lawrence's spot. And another thing, if Trevor Lawrence goes down, he is going to be the guy that they look towards. And I think that he can learn a lot from Trevor Lawrence. And another addition to the depth chart. And finally, the Eagles signed quarterback Kenny Pickett from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett got injured halfway through the season last year and was basically taken over. His spot was taken by Mitchell Trubisky. And after Russell Wilson and Justin Fields signed with the Steelers, go check out my last video to hear about that. The Steelers shipped Kenny Pickett away to the Eagles. And again, Jalen Hurts, you're not taking his spot, which is why I give it a D+. It's a pretty useless trade. So that'll close it for this second episode of Inside the 20. Again, go check out Hard Count on Instagram. I want to say shout out Aztecs. Let's go. Again, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, and have a great day.